Hey dear viewer, this is Almighty Z, and I wanted to find a way to celebrate the season of love we're in. I had options such as familial, friendship, and even self-love to choose from. Well, I decided to choose the old art of romance with Wuthering Heights. And I can safely say if romance means attracting someone through dominance and manipulation, then Genghis Khan was the most tender man ever.
He's a dreamboat. Don't wait up much.
Walking into this, I was anticipating a period piece of romance and tragedy from what is considered a classic piece of literature. Think along the lines of a Jane Eyre or Pride and Prejudice. Instead, I came away from an overindulgent story with morally reprehensible characters that frankly felt gross to sit through. And it's jarring because of how out of place these scenes are within an 18th to 19th century England. Almost like this was written by a college kid with a questionable search history, who has a warped view on how people interacted and engaged romantically with one another. And the modern songs from Charlie XCX interjected at various points only add to the problem. And with this film's official runtime at 2 hours and 16 minutes, you certainly feel it. Like a prostate exam where your doctor loses their wooden finger. Some positives do exist, like the costumes and how extravagant the effort going into all the sets of the houses are. But given what this film shows, it kind of works against itself. All the lush excessiveness and how over-the-top many of the rooms are designed just become obnoxious. Bottom line, it's not worth it to pretend you have a girlfriend to go watch this. So for now, settle on watching the semaphore version of Wuthering Heights for better enjoyment. Now I'm trying to catch up on classic literature, so I haven't read the novel and will only be commenting on the film itself. But if you have read the book, feel free to leave a comment on how you feel about this adaptation and how faithful it is. Now let's get balls deep in Margot, I mean the movie.
You have been warned.
The first scene of this film is a town gathering around a hanging. We see a man slowly strangled to death while street urchins comment on his boner. Once he dies, everyone rejoices and some people engage in debaucherous sex immediately.
Really?
Honestly, this scene summarizes the entire film, both tonally and what to anticipate. But we move on to the home life of Catherine, the daughter of wealthy drunkard Mr. Earnshaw. Her only close companion is a child servant, Nellie, who tends to resent her and will occasionally try to hurt her on various times. Then after a night out, Mr. Earnshaw adopts a local boy who is abandoned and abused by his father. So much so, the child doesn't even have a name and can hardly talk. So Catherine names him Heathcliff after her late brother and begins to grow a relationship with him. But she views him as more of a pet than her equal, something that her father also encourages. We then see the two grow up together. Catherine tries teaching Heathcliff to read, but he refuses to learn. The two play through the rural English countryside and become close friends. Then one day, after waiting for the rain to subside while playing, they're late for Mr. Earnshaw's birthday at the house. Already drunk, he gets very aggressive and Heathcliff protects Catherine by taking the beatings himself. Later that night, Catherine comforts Heathcliff and he replies that he will always protect her, no matter what. And this sequence is likely the best part of the film. To form the bond between Catherine and Heathcliff, we need to see how they grew up together and what the relationship was like. And without the depravity to come later, we see the innocence of childhood play out under unique and difficult circumstances. So hey, I'll give some props for right now.
That'll do, pig.
We cut to years later where the two are grown up. A new neighbor has moved nearby, Edgar Lipton. Catherine becomes quickly interested in him based on his status and wealth, while her father has begun to gamble away the family's fortune. She travels to his estate and meets Lipton and his sister, Isabella, an erotic woman who would later make dolls with Catherine's hair, give her a sexualized friendship scrapbook, and later kill the doll when she thinks Catherine is betraying her.
Weird.
But when we meet her, she's describing the plot of Romeo and Juliet in extreme detail. Kinda like my reviews, but hey, it's cute when I do it. Heathcliff, who remains a servant on the estate, becomes rather jealous of Catherine's new interactions, as he's already fallen in love with her. Later that night, Catherine goes to Heathcliff's room to chat, but through the floorboard she notices two other servants below. They give in to their throbbing biological urges, but decide to spice things up by using horse reins and a whip before getting it on. Catherine can't help looking, but Heathcliff covers her eyes and mouth to protect her until they're done.
She's faking it.
But the next day, Catherine tells the others she's going out for a walk, but really it's to flick her bean thinking about the servants having sex.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I guess her room later that night isn't private enough for that, and just the thought of those two was super titillating to her. But really this was done so Heathcliff can follow her and find her doing herself. As she runs away in disgust, he stops her and picks her up. Then Heathcliff starts being sexually suggestive by sucking on some of her fingers. And then in this moment, Heathcliff tells Catherine he loves her.
Yo, what the fuck are you talking about?
And here's already the problem with the movie. Well, a problem. This pivotal moment where our characters finally express their feelings is based on the two's raw sexual urges and not on anything of substance such as their childhood experiences or their personalities. Now if you're thinking, but isn't that kind of the point? This is supposed to be a forbidden romance. But this isn't romance, this is horny. And horny can only carry a relationship so far. So Catherine returns home and tells Nellie about what happened and also that she's accepted Lipton's marriage proposal. Nellie notices Heathcliff is nearby and uses her body language to move him outside the door, where he overhears that Catherine sees Heathcliff as having too low of a social standing and being with him would degrade her. This makes Heathcliff leave in disgust before he can hear Catherine say that she does truly love Heathcliff. So the moment of misunderstanding that worked better in Shrek because it wasn't forced is what makes Heathcliff leave. Distraught when she finds out, Catherine decides to marry Lipton. And we get a too long montage of her being lavish with dresses, necklaces, and sex, but she's unhappy. 5 years later, Heathcliff returns to Catherine, and he's stinkin' rich. He never tells, nor does the film reveal how he got it though. Never knew it was that easy to become so wealthy back then. Did he come across a drug deal gone wrong or something? He also tells Catherine he bought her father's estate, as he's become super feeble and poor now. He later dies, in a room with 2 large piles of bottles behind him stacked to the ceiling. I'm sorry, but this is part of the problem with the sets being extravagant but over the top, as I thought this moment was so funny. But Heathcliff continues to be persistent to the point of obsession to Catherine. He eventually gets her alone to a spot where they were kids, and they finally become passionate. Then commences a 4 to 5 minute montage of the two having sex. Now yes, the hypothalamus part of your brain reaching into your ancestral instincts may enjoy seeing Margot Robbie have sex repeatedly. We all wish that was us, including you ladies. But it's all just so excessive. And they do it everywhere. From Lipton's garden, to Catherine's bedroom, to her father's funeral, to the back of a carriage. Which, how can you even keep that last one a secret if there's a driver in the front? Eventually, Catherine realizes Nellie manipulated Heathcliff into hearing only what he heard, and she tries to fire her. This doesn't work, so she tells Lipton, who suspects Catherine's infidelity, and tries stopping her from seeing him again. She ignores this, but when the two do it yet again, she reveals she's pregnant with Lipton's kid. Heathcliff is okay with this though, and even offers to kill Lipton for safe measure. And now, that's when Catherine realizes this has gone too far and cuts ties with Heathcliff. She can excuse the stalking and domination, but she draws the line at killing. Enraged, Heathcliff takes Isabella for a wife to make Catherine jealous. He's open with how loveless and dominating he'll be, and basically treat her like a slave. And yet she's cool with it because she's very damaged. She's even willing to be literally chained like a dog to the fireplace.
I mean, really? The fuck, dude? The fuck?
Was this book always a 19th century 50 Shades of Grey? Heathcliff, still obsessed with Catherine, has Isabella write love letters to her every day, but Nellie burns them. And still upset with Heathcliff and her husband keeping her contained inside, Catherine has a miscarriage. She slowly becomes septicemic, that takes too long for Lipton to notice, and she dies. Heathcliff gets word, leaves his home, which allows Nellie to rescue Isabella, and the film ends with him embracing the corpse of Catherine, promising not to leave her.
And there was much rejoicing.
Honestly, if you remove the wealth and time period, this is just a story about trailer trash. The tragic romance you're supposed to be rooting for doesn't work because it's based off of sex, and our characters are too unlikable for you to connect with. And the Elizabethan dialogue just makes everything drawn out and add to the excessiveness. And if this movie was supposed to be about love, then...
Hard-on stick must die!
Anywho, thank you all for watching. Expect more videos from me, Almighty Z, discussing more media from A to Z. So long.